we carry on with the transfer talk. And yep, so as we said, then RODRI, NDOMBELE, and Frankie de Jong will be very interesting to see how they perform next season. So just going to round off the talk now with a little look at the Copa America. We're in the final. Today is Brazil versus Peru. Exciting times. But yesterday, weirdly enough, third, fourth place playoff game is actually making the news today as Lionel Messi was sent off by referee Mario Diaz de Vivar. He was sent off after he clashed with Gary Medel. The ball was going out of play. Messi appeared to flick at Medel with his foot, in my opinion, tapped Medel's ankle. Medel being Medel turned around, started argy-bargy. And before we even knew it, the referee was running and showing the red card before even getting to the pair.
And then he apparently reported there was bad language, there was swearing.
This is what I've got here. So according to the report from Mario Diaz de Vivar, he says that Messi had used abusive language, offensive gestures, insulting or humiliating by confronting the opponent in an incident where the ball was no longer in play, giving a strong blow with his shoulder to the opponent. Now, fair enough, the shoulder thing.
It sounds like a boxing fight he's describing.
Well, I mean, the shoulder thing, whatever. As much as Messi's trying to give it the old, I'm not touching him. He did go in with his shoulder a couple of times.
Like he's trying to dance with him, in the fight.
A bit of a cha-cha-cha going on there. But the part where he goes, that Messi used abusive language, offensive gestures, insulting, humiliating. The referee was showing the red card before he even reached the players. They were literally.
Unless he's got the world's most, the world's best hearing.
I mean, what do you make of that statement?
He's just trying to cover his tracks. I think he knows he's got it wrong. He knows he was a bit too lax with red cards, and he knows he's trying to cover up as to why he sent them off. Maybe he's trying to make a name for himself, with the sendings off. Because I think he showed me his track record of.
We'll look at that in a minute.
Go into that,
But I think he just knows he made a big.
But
mistake.
I think Argentina played one of their best games against Chile. It's a shame, and also I don't know if you want to cover it later. But what Messi said about the whole tournament overall, he said that there was corruption in CONMEBOL.
I'm getting to that bit now.
Okay.
Here it is there.
Okay. I'm trying to be too quick.
No, of course. So let me just read out what the tweet says. This is from Roy Nemer, journalist, translating Messi's comments. So this is what he says. What I said happened. I didn't go to the podium. This is after the game when they presented with the third, fourth medals. I didn't go to the podium because we shouldn't be part of the corruption and lack of respect. We were meant for more, but they didn't let us be in the final. The corruption and the refs didn't allow the people to enjoy, and football is ruined. The corruption and the referees didn't allow us to be in the final. You have to say the truth. Again, Roy here says, Lionel Messi also hinting that his red card was payback for what he said following the game against Brazil. Lionel Messi goes on to say, Brazil champions, no doubt. Sadly, I think it's been set up for Brazil. Hopefully the refs and VAR will have nothing to do with it, and Peru will be able to compete because they have the team to do it. But I see it as difficult. Again, leading off Roy's Twitter here, Lionel Messi just going against all of CONMEBOL with his comments to come out and say that he just said to come out and say what he just said takes balls because he just flat out called them out on it. There's bad officiating and there is there's bad officiating and then there is the corruption that exists within CONMEBOL. This is huge, and to be fair, these are huge statements made by possibly one of the best players in the world. Yeah. He's had run-ins with CONMEBOL before in the past. He's not been very happy when it comes to international football. I think he's always had it in his mindset that there's always something against Argentina. And it's unfortunate really that someone of his stature and his ability feels that way on the international stage.
Yeah, I mean, to the observer that hasn't really been keeping an eye on the Copa America, this sounds like sour grapes from a player that's not going to win the final yet again with Argentina. But I think from the game, I mean, I'm not surprised that I wouldn't be surprised if the refs were kind of lenient with Brazil and kind of facilitated them to beat Argentina and get to the final. We saw that in the World Cup 5 years ago when Brazil, there was a few decisions that went in favour of Brazil, and you kind of unfortunately expect that because Brazil's hosting the competition. It's kind of the cradle, one of the not the cradle of football, but it's, you associate it with, sexy football. So
Joga bonito.
Joga bonito, and you kind of sadly expect these kind of decisions to kind of go in Brazil's favour. But I think he's really frustrated with the fact with officiating against Argentina when they lost 2-1, which is probably Argentina's best game of the competition. They started off really badly against Colombia when they lost 2-0, and you can't really remember too many chances they had in that game. But they kind of picked up from there, and yeah, they had the best game against Brazil and just lost that game. But
yeah,
I think CONMEBOL has always been, it's not always, but it's been associated recently with a lot of dubious decisions. I mean, for me, I kind of remember the game, the Copa Libertadores final. I mean, the powers that be in CONMEBOL for some reason decided the game would be played in Real Madrid because they couldn't sort out a game in Buenos Aires. It's a bit laughable, isn't it? And there was talk about it being moved to Paraguay, being played in Asunción, or even Chile. I mean, for the games to be played in Spain, thousands of miles away from where it was going to be played.
That was a farce.
It was a bit of a farce.
Considering this is the last year they have two-legged finals, that was a farce.
And now you have CONMEBOL deciding there's going to be two countries that host the Copa America next year. It's like, and they're playing it in Colombia. I mean, I'm happy some of it's going to be played in Colombia because we're in Colombia.
Isn't this the third Copa America in 5 years as well?
Yeah, again, it's all over the place.
It's crazy.
There's no format, and I've had friends message me saying, "What a joke! Latin Americans are a joke," and it's hard to go against that argument because it's nothing like the Europeans where they set up there's a 4-year, there's a competition every 4 years. It's well structured. There's a qualifying process. I mean, fair enough. It's a bit hard to have that in Latin America, given that there's a lot less countries than in Europe. But I mean, at least bring back the respect, because I think that respect element of it kind of goes out the window when you're having the competition being played every two.
The value of the
2
tournament
years.
has kind of gone.
It's kind of goes.
And although Copa America has always had invitational teams, having Qatar there is just.
And they're going to be there again next year, and you have Australia going to be playing there next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, Australia's fine. They've gone to World Cups, and they have a history in football. Qatar don't, so it's straight up money, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, but no, I think Qatar's they're gaining more credence now because they got to the final of the Asian Cup, which they lost in there, didn't they? They lost the final of the Asian Cup.
I didn't see that.
So they're kind of coming up. They're coming up in the international scene, but I think CONMEBOL being called out for their bit of the farcical process behind Copa America is right. I'm not sure about the corruption. I'm not sure. There's probably isn't any evidence at the moment, but I mean, I'd call them out more on the organizational side of things. Because right now, I don't know how they're going to organize next year's competition in 2 different countries. I
mean, that is going to be crazy. I mean,
and to announce it the year before. I mean, surely you'd have announced it 5 years before, 4 years before. At least you would know. But
yeah, that's the thing as well. I mean, going on what Messi's just said, I don't blame him for being frustrated. I thought the game against Brazil was a farce. There were some decisions there that you couldn't believe that VAR didn't play a role in overturning them. Even the red card yesterday. How did VAR not get looked at? And I've seen red cards been reversed before. Why didn't that happen? It's just ridiculous that an incident like yesterday actually went ahead, given that there is technology now being used. So, and I'm going on the corruption thing. Yeah, maybe that might be happening, but let's be honest. CONMEBOL's referees have always been terrible. There's very rarely any good ones. Not being biased or nothing, but the best referee at this Copa America was the Colombian one.
Was he?
I think so. Anyway, from the little bits that I've seen or heard.
Who was it again?
I forgot his name, but he's Colombian.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, like yesterday's game was ridiculous. The Brazil-Argentina game was fast as well, and it's just unfortunate that that's happened. And I feel for Messi slightly. He wants to win something with Argentina. Everyone's expecting him to now because obviously Ronaldo's got his Euro 2016 trophy,
and they'll always hold that against him as well.
And it will always.
Not just that, the fact that he's only played at Barcelona as well, they'll hold that against him too. Even though he's scored a ridiculous amount of goals, they'll always hold that. And to be honest, it's a fair argument to make that Ronaldo's better than Messi. I'm not saying he is, but it's an argument that it holds more weight when you compare a player like Ronaldo to Messi, because he's gone to different countries and absolutely smashed it wherever he's gone. Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Especially now Ronaldo's on his third big league, and doing it there as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So it will be interesting to see how CONMEBOL react to this. They did release a statement yesterday. Just going off the screen here, I've got here. CONMEBOL said a fundamental pillar of fair play is to accept the results with loyalty and respect. The same goes for refereeing decisions, which are human and will always be improvable. fair enough. But we have VAR now, so we don't need to rely on just human referees. That red card should have been overturned. I didn't think Medell even deserved the red card. Both of them should have got a yellow.
I don't think. Yeah.
Carry on with the game.
Yeah.
Let's just get on with it. And yesterday turned into something a lot more than what it should have been because of that.
I mean,
really.
you'd have thought it was a final, right? Not a third and fourth place game.
The way they were playing in that game, it was just all guns blazing, which is great to see. But
so basically, Philip Neville's statement that the third place game they played yesterday was a bit of a farce.
Well, because he
This
lost.
Yeah.
If he hadn't lost.
So this doesn't apply to this Copa America game
Yeah.
because these players would go in hell for leather.
Yeah, exactly.